We are back in full action. It is absolutely beautiful out. I might be actually a little overdressed for the day. Got some shorts on, but I do have the sweatshirt. Might have to lose a layer or two as the day progresses, but we are back in action and I'm feeling good. And it is awesome because you guys are always here and have my back, which I absolutely love. I couldn't thank you guys enough for that. How truly that means the world to me. And we are back this morning. We can even see our shadow. It's so nice out with the sun behind us. It's going to be a hot one, but we are lucky enough to have our light back. I actually went and purchased a light and was lucky enough to actually get the same one as before, so that's pretty darn cool. And then I also picked up a U-lock, which I have mounted to the Kreepn cruiser and kind of using the other lock now to lock my seat up. But we are on the trail, the Springwater corridor here, and we are heading up to Willamette National Cemetery to check out and pay our respects to a very iconic Portland wrestler, Mr. Shag Thomas. And you're gonna wanna stick around, stay tuned, especially if you're a fan of Portland or Portland wrestling. Gets me thinking about, you know, Jimmy Snuka, Rowdy Piper, Andre the Giant, just to name a few. So stay tuned, we're doing a little wrestle creeping. We just trekked up that hill, and I've done it a couple times before on foot, but it's a whole nother story when you got the another 30 pounds with you plus the backpack. Whew, we're almost there though. We're like about a half, maybe 200 feet, but we are up here, which is good because we're gonna get some spectacular views too. But we are up here. We got to go about another couple hundred feet to the cemetery. All right, we made it. We are here at the beautiful Willamette National Cemetery. And like I said, if you're a fan of Portland wrestling or just wrestling in general, you're not going to want to miss this one. And we are located here at the Mount Scott Boulevard at about 112th. So if you do come up here, make sure you pay your respects and always be very respectful to the grounds and whatnot. So yeah, we're gonna go biking now and find the grave of the famous Portland wrestler, Mr. Shag Thomas. All right, so I'm pretty sure I have the right location, but I wanted to show you guys this anyways. If you do come up here, you can find loved ones or, you know, folks that you want to come pay your respects to. And you start just by touching the screen here, and it should take us to, you know, like their homepage where you can check out the last names, type in first names and such. Huh, maybe it's down. Yeah, it looks like it might be down. Huh. Well, they've also got this, so you can open the QR code reader on your phone and hold your device here, and that will take you to their grave locator as well. So maybe they're kind of working on this. But if you do come up here, there's also a map that gives us an overview of where we're at. So it looks like we are here, right next to the offices here, and we are looking for Section A, so outer drive right along the boulevard here, next to entry gate 2, first drive. So Portland's had a ton of famous wrestlers over the years that have, you know, made it to the WWF. Rowdy Piper, you know, Jimmy Snuka. I mean, I could go on and on. Andre the Giant. But there was one gentleman that was not only kind of ahead of his time, but one of the very first African-American wrestlers here in Portland. Back then it was kind of segregated when he started, and Portland wrestling owner Don Owens, he believed in Shag and he gave him an opportunity to wrestle with some of the best. Like I said, a lot of the wrestling industries and stuff were segregated just because of the times and whatnot. And Portland Wrestling didn't let them stop them, or it didn't let them stop them from wrestling through Portland Wrestling. And so, yeah, just a well-known, very loved wrestler and man. And what makes him really cool is at one point he was so famous he was actually going to run for mayor. But we're gonna show you guys his final resting place, and of course pay our respects. And when I do these, you know, my first intentions is to keep folks' memories alive. And we've done some other Portland wrestling stuff on the vlog, so I really wanted to get him on the vlog. But without further ado, I'm going to show you guys the final resting place of Shag Headbutt Thomas. All right, you guys, and here is the final resting place to Mr. James Shag Thomas. As you can see, he served in World War II, born August 11th, 1924, passed away July 25th, 1982, but not to have done a ton of really awesome stuff in his lifetime. Like I said, he was an American professional wrestler during the 50s and 60s, and he really was one of the few African-American wrestlers known as Headbutt Shag, or even King Toby. And he was only 5'6", but he weighed 255 pounds of just pure muscle. He was actually born in Stewartsville, Ohio, and he began wrestling, like I said, when it was kind of segregated still. And he gained most of his, fame and stuff right here in Portland by promoter Don Owen. And Owens did not segregate his wrestlers. So he flourished, and in the wrestling championship, he became the Northwest heavyweight champion twice, and the tag team championship 16 times. He retired in 1969, defeating Robert Kirby in his final match. And Shag actually took his wrestling career one step further. When he retired, he actually began to referee. He was one of the well-known referees in the game, and so since he had already, wrestled basically with all the best, he knew all the rules. And so he was also very well known for being a very good referee. Also had a brother named Clyde, who was a professional football player, which was actually Shag's first love. He actually played college football, and kind of was his first love was to be a professional football player. But his sheer strength and love for wrestling kind of led him to a different career. When he was in school, his school there in Ohio, he went to Belvedere High School, and he was actually inducted into the Hall of Fame there in 1993. Like I said, he had won a ton of tag teams with Pepper Martin, Tony Bourne, Bearcat Wright, Billy the White Wolf, and a ton more throughout his career. He was in the NWA Canadian Tag Team Championship, and he also wrestled in the Northwest International Tag Team Championship. So yeah, he did so much and just accomplished so much in his life. Unfortunately, he did pass away, like I said, July 25th, which his birthday will be coming up here shortly. But what a great man, and to kind of be wrestling at a time where a lot of other places were, segregated and stuff. It must have been rough, but he made, a really good name for himself here in Portland. And like I said, he even ran for mayor at one point. I actually found some flyers from when he ran. I have to say too, this picture that I found, and most of the pictures that I have seen of Shag, he's always dressed so dapper. He definitely had a good taste for always looking good. I think that's kind of why he got the name King as well. Always looking good. Like I said, his love for football was kind of his first thing he thought he was going to kind of do as his career. And in 1942, he did graduate from Bel Air, Ohio, and kind of being known for, you know, his size. He was actually contracted with the Green Bay Packers, and in July of 1950 he signed a contract with them, but he was actually cut prior to the final exhibition game. But at one point he technically was a Packer. What's really cool too, and that I find really interesting about his time here in Portland, is he never gave up, you know, with the segregation and everything kind of being in different ways back then. Shag continued to wrestle and really become one of the best, one of the most known Portland wrestlers, and he was kind of, you know, overshadowed by some other folks along the way, but was very awesome and a great professional person, you know, on and off the ring. Did a lot for the community, and I just love it, because if it wasn't for guys like Shag, there really wouldn't be wrestling like it is today. A lot of the Portland wrestlers, well, they really did pave the way for what it became, and Shag being one of them. Now that, you know, WWE, WWF, any wrestling federation now welcomes everyone with open arms. But if it wasn't for guys like Shag kind of taking that step out and really putting faith in everything, I really don't think that wrestling would be anything like it is today. So you got to really, it gives you a good perspective of, you know, how far along the sport has come, and not to mention all the great people that really kind of paved the way for others, and Shag being one of them. I read some stories where during the matches and stuff, he wanted to, you know, just like any wrestler, wanted to defeat his opponent, and he was known to give him a good swift headbutt. And I think back then the rules might be a little different, but nonetheless, pretty cool to visit his headstone. And there are a lot of Portland wrestling ties already. I'm hoping to maybe visit the Portland Armory someday. I believe it's a church now, but one of my good viewers, Cobra Rose, was telling me that they might be able to actually let us tour the church, and kind of talk about, you know, the old Portland Armory days with Rowdy Piper, Shag Thomas, Andre the Giant. I mean, just to name a few. So got himself a beautiful resting place under this big tree. I also wanted to leave this rose here kind of for the, you know, Rose City, and honoring him just for being such a good wrestler and a cool guy. Everything that I read, I definitely missed. Rest in peace. Wanted to leave that rose. I was meaning to do that on a couple other grave sites that we visited of some, you know, iconic Portland folks, famous people, and loved ones. And if you guys want, you can check that playlist out above. We've got a whole playlist on famous graves of Portland and Oregon. We are up here this morning, and look at this view downtown. Got the coin tower there, big pink on the far right. That's awesome. Beautiful. that's going to do it for today. If you guys are new here, make sure you hit that red subscribe button down below. That'll dial you into being a creeper today. You can also ring that bell. That way when I creep, you guys will be the first to creep. And if you did enjoy this, give it a thumbs up. Until next time, creeper out for now. Peace.